of Raifa, and it feels very, really powerful. I can only imagine how the 50th and the 10th years will be. Thank you for putting this out together. We're here for a very amazing session. I believe that Africa is gold, and we're here with a great, amazing panel turning African tales into cinematic gold. You know, commercializing your project. There is pretty much more, so get more experimental with other platforms. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you so much, and welcome to everyone and my co-panelists. I mean, these are people that I've been meaning to meet one way or the other, because of course, this is my brother. And my last film I did in Nigeria last year, he was my keyboard producer, so he's my brother. Well, I mean, every country has its own way of doing things, ways that their people understand and can relate with. And so when you're telling stories, you really want to tell stories that when people that identify with you see, they're like, oh, okay, I see my people doing this. I don't think this is far from us. It's close to home. And of course, this brings us to the last film we made, when we were going through the funding process and had to pitch it to a lot of executive producers or financiers. And they went to America for some review, and the feedback was, oh, they were so excited. And so it was getting to my head. I went to France, Canal Plus, they were so excited about the whole concept, and I gave it to Chris, and I'm like, Peter, I like this story, but do you think Nigerians are going to relate to this? And that hits me a bit. It's like the reality check. I mean, you may have a very fanciful story, very beautiful, narrative is so great, but you have to ask yourself, will the people I'm telling this story to associate or identify with it? And those are the questions that sometimes you need to ask. And of course, sometimes for me as a director, I just want to do something that I have not done before, so that someday I could say that I have done this before. It worked well for me, or it never worked for me. So when Chris was telling me this as my very able producer, I was a co-writer as well. So I was like, Chris, I believe in this story. Let's do it. And it's okay, if you believe in it, then I'm here for you. I'm just going to do everything that it takes to. But today, if you ask me to do the same story again for the same people, I'll tell you, no, my brother, I'm not doing that. You understand? And it was worth it at the time I was doing it. And so I just felt that there was a certain element of culture that I thought was so fanciful, and I could put in that film. And the people that it belonged to sort of saw themselves in it, and they loved it, and that's why the feedback came. But the people I was going to show it to do not find themselves in it. So that means that it's a kind of a misplaced narrative in the space that the story is located. You get my point? And so that is one thing that we need to also ask ourselves, that the people I'm telling this story to, will they identify with it? Will they see this film and say it's really
watch a film that reminds me of me? I want to watch a film that reminds me of my mother, my brothers, and all of that. So I think honestly, it's a journey of finding which audience you care about enough to focus on. And even locally, some people make films for the highbrow, some people make films for the grassroots, some people make films for the middle class. And strangely, the highbrow might be too busy and too sophisticated to spend 15 or whatever money you spend in Ghana to watch a film. The grassroots might be too poor. It's mostly, as far as I'm concerned, the cinema we created is for middle class people. But you know, the middle class, they have this, they want to look like they are aspiring, thank you. So it's just a whole lot of, which is why it brings me back to what I was saying yesterday, because when we talk about films, I saw when the title of this segment, they call it cinematic, and it's like, this cinematic thing, I hope it's not going to kill all of us. We have 12 cinemas for the whole of Africa. We want to put all our films there. I think we have more filmmakers than cinemas. True? There are more filmmakers than cinemas. Imagine we are all going to where we are more than. So if we all say one cinema per head, it doesn't go round. So having said that, I think we all have to look for a way to locally tell our stories to the point that it's so exciting, and the ripple effect is felt by the world, and the world come to see what exactly is exciting them.
Start from what sells.
Yeah.
I'll start from what sells, because what sells is like a big, it's like asking to sell ice to an Eskimo. You are just, what will sell to you might not be what I would like to buy. So it's the same thing too with film. Sometimes I even imagine the streamers being in a room full of our stories, and they are trying to select which one do I want. Sometimes I also feel, do they really know what they want? Because they create the framework for you and say this is how you should tell the story, hyper-local, this and that. And then they will come back to say, no, we want it epic, we want this, we want that. So again, it goes to show that it is more like experimenting these things to see what works for them. Again, what will sell to you might not be what I want to buy. So in terms of what is going to sell as a movie, it is a very big, it's like a compound word that you have. And then you are just trying to fit in and trying to box it and put it into a box, and what works and what doesn't work. So in the eyes of the streamers, what exactly do you want? You know, it's like buying a yard of materials, and you are trying to fit someone that is, really curvy and plump into a very small fabric. So we must be able to cut our coat according to the fabric that we have. And in doing that, you must also identify what exactly they want to buy. Because if you go to a market, a film industry is a market in itself. Everybody has what they are selling there. And every creative has unique selling points. They have unique items, films that they want to sell, be it featured, show, or documentary. You, the buyer, needs to know what you want to buy. I'm the seller. I cannot tell you this is what you should buy. You know what you want for your platform. I believe every streamer know what they want for their. I mean, the algorithm is there for a reason, for them to be able to identify what they want to buy. Again, I'll push it back to say, who is buying should know what they want to buy. But in a situation where you don't even know what you want to buy, then I come in as an aggregator to aggregate potentially quite a number of contents to say, these are the ones that are available, what do you want to buy, what do you then you screen and then make your selection. They are buying today, tomorrow they will change and say, this is not what I want anymore, I want something. There was even one time I sold a faith-based film from Ghana, A Taste of Sin. It just came from the blues. And since after then, which faith-based locally have we sold? So it's like a flash in the pan. Sometimes those requests just comes from nowhere. Oh, Joy, we need this. And then I'm sourcing in the market. That's the work of an aggregator. You have to source in the market. Do you have this? Do you have that? So again, I'll push back to say there's no one, what do they want to buy? What was the second one?
You kind of got them, but the second one was what travels, but you kind of gave us hints on that.
So in terms of what will travel, I would say our culture travels. Culture is something that I know for sure travels. Our music, our food, all this, our fashion, all these things travel. And everyone globally right now are looking to Nigeria for the next fashion statement, the next food, the next dance even. You can see it all over TikTok. Once a musician is releasing a music, you just see them come with that dancing step and all of that. Before you know, it's trending in China. You see them, all their top TikTok dancers and all of that. That is already happening. So that shows that our culture trends. And then we would like to see the talent, how you are able to craft your talent. People relate to a talent first before your film. So you must also create a talent that can travel in terms of the film that you are trying, the story you are trying to tell. So everyone wants to see an African superhero. That's why Black Panther was super successful. because we've never seen a black superhero. So, but you see the dynamics of what is traveling now. Every African wants to emancipate, wants to come out of something, wants to be something, wants to be somewhere, wants to aspire to be. Because we see in ourselves that we are not there. So again, that also shows you a trend that can potentially put people in a position where your culture can travel, your talent can travel, your music, your food, and all of that. And we need to now step to the table to position all those things rightly in our field.
And I believe the people who are filmmakers in the room, they're wondering where should they find their stories. I've been able to, watch what Anikula did, the Barrio Kojo. I've seen, Kwakeli from Uganda. I've seen Super Cento as well. So I'm wondering, where should the filmmakers look or find their stories that they want to tell, African narratives?
Where should they find it?
Where should they find it? In terms of story sourcing, story mining, where should they find them?
Like I was going to say, with that evolution, what would you advise filmmakers to do? Because they say it's love, and now the filmmaker has gone to collect $1 million, he should do the love film. While you're still doing anything, now you're it's an Ebola that is ready now. Very short wedding film.
Yeah.
So this is really question for me to you. How will the producer position it? I think that connects to this question. How do we fit into all of this constant evolution of the market?
I think it's very important that you work with your aggregator and your distributor, because first of all, those distributors, they have the eyes and ears of what is happening that filmmakers don't know. Well, I know a lot of happenstance things have happened where people spend money and they invest money so much in production, and while, like Chris rightly said, you are editing and they've changed the whole. So again, it takes me back to what I was saying, that these streamers, do they really know what they want to buy? Or we are just experimenting? Now it brings me back to what I have been advocating for so long under Syria that I have, put together, is for us as Africans to now introspect, to start to build our own, and to own what we are building authentically in such a way that it is productive. You can see the success, you can be able to measure it over time and see that this thing will work in terms of our platform, our TV, whatever. All these things has to work for us. Because if you are looking abroad, save me, nobody is going to come and save you. You will have to save yourself. Because the TV you are aspiring to go, let's say you want to go to the US and then whatever TV station they have there, and then you want to tell your stories. Let's go back to what Chris said. Who told you that the English you are speaking in your film would resonate with the people sitting there in New York that are like New Yorkers, and then you are speaking your English that is from again Odeh. I mean, it is. Sorry, Chris. Produce your film, put it there. Produce it, put it there. And millions all over the world will watch that film and pay.
But then again, the platforms on these phones are all non-local platforms.
Excuse me.
So we're going to China, we're going to
Excuse
America.
me. That is what I keep saying. Who put up this microphone? That is why I'm saying our culture is being diluted. Everything we have, we were given. We did not create anything, Chris. Yes. Africans, we never created anything. So whatever we see is trend. Let us follow them. Oh, this is where it's going. But as a woman in film, I must also, and as an executive in film, I must also see what is happening on the global landscape and see how I can position myself to align. Now, whether or not we want to really follow them from A to Z, it is now a matter of choice. Or do I want to go and upskill? Because we don't upskill here. We live within, we don't know, I'm not BSc or maybe masters. The zenith of every African is PhD holder. Once you have that PhD, you feel that you are all in all. No. You have to go and upskill. How many people who went to American film school or went to New York film school to study cinematography, for instance, have upskilled in the last 5 years? How many? Is that same knowledge, residual knowledge, the one they know, that is the one they are still using? Imagine, and cinematography has evolved. You are still using the one that they taught you in 50 years ago to shoot a 2025 film. How? So Africans, we want more, but let us talk to ourselves. Can we be honest?
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest now. We let me not speak Nigerian English. We need to get to a place where no. When they put you at par with your foreign counterpart, you level up. Well, not that you'll be begging for a cap in hand. No. So for that micro dramas that I'm talking to you about, is from Korea, it's from China, it's from all these people. But can you go and train? Funding is a problem. I don't know why our government in Africa feels that we should be underfunded. We are the ones, we are the critical mass. We are the ones that need this money. Can somebody help me speak? We are the ones that are giving the continent all the recognition and all of that in music, in fashion. Okay, what else? What else apart from the culture? What else? Nothing. We are the ones making them look good. So excuse me, sir, we need the check. So that's
Thank you for sharing.
Of them to watch every African film that comes out. If they pay $1, that's $45 million per film. When you fix that problem, you can charge us 50%. We are paying the cinemas already. We'll pay you. You will look better and happier and richer. So please, if we knew how to fix the problem, we would have fixed it. I'm not talking on behalf of all the elders. Me as a mini elder, we don't know what to do. Bruh, we were born before phones. We were born before internet. We still don't understand this thing. I was trying to show Matthew a picture of my phone yesterday. It took me 15 minutes to find the picture. But you guys were born with these things already. You understand these things. You process these things. Apply it to your creative. Don't follow the bandwagon. Don't follow the bandwagon of thinking that because you are a filmmaker, it means you must be a director. There's more to filmmaking than being a director, actor, producer, writer. There are other components in filmmaking that will help the industry become bigger and wider. So think about distribution and bringing our stories to people's phones. Thank you.
And for a great line. And don't limit yourself on one dimension of distribution. It's been amazing. I so believe that these conversations and us meeting at a festival like PREPA would keep on push us to learn to work together and support each other, because it's through coming together here that we learn that, we are all the same. We go through the same problems and we can help each other through African cinema. It's been great having you. Thank you very much. Stay around for the funeral of Odeh. Thank you.
Yes.